All right, ladies and gentlemen, mirë se vini në programin ton të studio on All Things Albanian. You know we're back at it. I know, we missed 2 weeks, yada, yada, yada. But guess what? Today we got a very special guest in the building doing his thing, the one, the only, Durim Halimi. Durim, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Hey, man, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very, very much for coming. Because, it's not the easiest thing to come on here, get judged, talk about certain things. It's not easy, but...
No, man, it's my pleasure. From day one when I saw that you started doing this thing, I was fully supportive of it, loved the idea.
Indeed,
I was hoping that I would get my chance, and it came right away, actually, so I'm here.
There you go. There's certain people that, even when I started this, there was no way I'm like, I gotta have this person now. We've always been together, we've always been in the cut, so it feels right to have you on, really.
I appreciate that. It feels right being here.
I love that. But yeah, even in how you were mentioning from the beginning, and we talked about this off camera a little bit, but I want to get it on camera because you deserve the notoriety for it. When I first started it, you said, quote unquote, whatever, to the effect of, it's not easy putting yourself out there, especially in the Albanian community, especially when you want to do something good and have good feelings about it. It's not easy at all. So when you said that, I'm like, all right, I got another hitter with me.
No, that's for sure. I mean, even when I would just do like public speaking events for Mbrëmja Kërçovare or the Albanian community in Illinois or Wisconsin, you're putting yourself out there. You're representing yourself, your family. It's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of other intricacies that you have to think about before you do it.
Yeah, and then with the music now that I started getting into that industry a little bit, that was like a joy and a nightmare at the same time.
Right. Yep.
Okay, I'm confident in this material that I'm putting out, but then, man, what is everybody else going to think about this?
Yes.
And it's not just my friends and family. It's like in Shqipëri, Maqedoni, Kosovo, Malsi, everybody's going to hear this thing.
You start thinking, you're going far. If you scale,
in Bunor, bro.
Direct in Bunar. And you start thinking, what if this blows up and then and I'm just in Tiran or something and someone stops me? Your shit sucks. You start thinking that the chances of that ever happening are not going to happen, but that's where you go with it. It's like, oh my God, it's a lot of stress.
Yeah, I mean, if that ever happens, Sue's up, keep going. That wasn't me, bro. It wasn't me.
I think you got me mixed up with my twin brother. You don't have a twin brother. No, you just walk away.
Durim Halimi. No, I'm Burim, bro. With a B.
There's a B and a D. But yeah, and then you just brought that up, and I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, because we've known each other for a while now, decent amount of time. I'm like, when's the first time I actually met Durim? I was thinking about when was the first time that me and Durim, and I couldn't think of it, but one of my earliest memories of you was, whether it was Mbrëmja Kërçovare, it was one of these big Albanian events that are held around here.
Yeah.
And you would always consistently get up on stage and you would hold these not crazy speeches, but you would hold speeches where this sala ishte full with Beshin Vejet, Jushin Vejet at some points, you're a good speaker and you know what you're doing, but to get up there and talk in front of all those people, the way you were talking, however, you were talking about it and you were getting up there and doing. And I always thought to myself, I'm like, look at this guy. I want to be that guy. I want to be doing that stuff. And you're a big inspiration. And I swear to God, this is true for me in my younger years, trying to get more into the community. And I wanted to be like Durim in those aspects where I helped out and did those things. Where do you find the vulnet to do it?
Well, first, I appreciate it, and now I'm glad that we're sharing the stage together.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
But I don't know, man. I mean, it really started off with, people who organize those events kind of reaching out to me because they kind of wanted to start handing it down to, younger generations.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, I want to do this. And in the back of my head, when I took it, obviously, I was really nervous and... Am I going to butcher it? Are people going to mock me if I mess up a word or two? Check you, Shipsdin, whatever.
Yep.
But no, I mean, in the back of my head, what I thought was, if other people in my generation see me doing it, then others are going to step up or feel more comfortable, or they'll see somebody within their generation, speaking the language, trying to at least make grammatik and stuff like that, and maybe they'll want to learn more about it as well. So yeah, that kind of stuff pushed me, and then I just got used to it, really.
It's just the one that you went off the deep end on the first one and then just came naturally, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Well, that was in the back of your mind. And you directly spoke to me, unintentionally. There, I would always do that. I got to do that. I personally don't think I could have ever gone up there, but it just the idea of that was very beautiful now and at the time. So with the podcast, you're doing the music and stuff. That's where I wanted to get into it. I know a lot of Shupas out there, younger generation. This is geared towards the younger generation that want to get into being Albanian more, Albanian ideas, getting together. And like you said, the older generation handed it down to us. If we're not doing it, no one else is going to do it. Baka shown we have to try some things at least to keep it going.
No, that's 100% true. And I mean, with us living abroad, living in the United States, assimilation is 100%. It's a thing. Like you can't run from it. You can't try to alter it. You can't modify it. It happens.
Yep.
We have to accept that. But seeing how we learned from our parents, it's really good if we can try to at least keep that and associate our identity with, our homeland. And, like I have a 1-year-old, well, almost 1-year-old baby girl now.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Elida. She's a cute little princess.
Indeed.
But that kind of stuff is always in the back of my mind too. Like, okay, I see how my parents raised me, all these different events that they took me to. I feel very proud to be Albanian. I want to instill those values into my children, and hopefully they hang on to it and try to pass it down. Obviously, I know there's going to be like a ceiling, as I mentioned, with the assimilation. Over time, generations don't necessarily start to fade. Like you're still Albanian, but the customs, the traditions,
culture, the traditions. Yep.
So I just want to at least play my role in making sure that stays alive.
Even if it's a little bit or it's a lot, it doesn't. That's the thing that's kind of happening nowadays. It's like if you're not going full throttle on certain things, or if you're not doing 100% of it, you shouldn't be doing it. Well, no, I'd rather take someone that's trying 5%. I'm using percentages, 5%, and they're helping as opposed to nothing, because that person wants to do that. And then to your point of like assimilation, someone said this to me. I forgot. I can't remember who told me this. They're going to kill me because I'm not mentioning it, but whatever. They're like, the point is not assimilation. How do we integrate? Let's not assimilate, but let's integrate. And I'm like, that is a very good point, because we all think of the word assimilation. Let's integrate Albanian idea. Don't fully go one way or the other on it.
No, that's actually a very valid point. Whoever said that to you, he forgot about you.
I forgot.
Very valid point.
Oh man, he's gonna kill me.
But no, integration is actually a better way of putting it. When I say assimilation, I don't mean it in a negative way.
No, that's just the word that comes straight to our mind.
But yeah, I mean, you're in the United States. You're living in this society. You're living with different norms, different traditions, different cultural expectations. Yep. But then being Albanian, you can integrate that, promote your culture, make it a special thing. Yeah, so I definitely agree with whoever it is that told you that.
I just thought Dr. Luan Eliasi said that to me. So
and, he's a great guy too. So I know pushing this.
Përshëndesim Luan. But what was I gonna say? See, these are the things people think you're professional. No, I'm gonna forget. I'm not a professional podcaster, guys. Calm down. But you aren't, whatever the fact, you can explain it. The president of the Albanian American Association, Wisconsin, is that the general term for it?
Yeah, so Albanian American Community of Wisconsin, so AACW. I mean, this pandemic kind of held us back over the last year and a half, but prior to the pandemic, we struck the iron while it was hot for a good 2 years. We have a nice core team composed of guys from Macedoni, Shqipëri, Kosovo, a really nice balance.
You get a little bit from everybody.
Yeah, and then
so
even within
one-sided.
Exactly, and then even within Macedoni, we have guys from Kërçov, and then we also have guys from Ona e Prespës.
Right.
So a nice mix, trying to integrate. There you go.
We use that.
As many different Albanian groups.
Yep.
And I mean, we were very successful in having like Albanian picnics, Festa Flamurit, both for Shqipërisë and Kosovës. Trying to host like public forums just to keep people informed on what it is that we're trying to do, like where that money, like when we have Festa, obviously you pay a ticket fee, and then people kind of, where's that mystery money going?
You guys are being as not being, you guys are transparent as it could possibly be.
We're
It's
trying
just a
to
matter
be.
of someone going and asking, hey, this. I'm more than positive you guys have everything.
Yeah. But the biggest joy in all of it is I see a lot of people in the Albanian community over there in Wisconsin,
Right.
really appreciative of the efforts that we're putting in, and it's really nice to see that everybody's kind of coming together
Yeah.
under that. So
And that's the thing with me, at least, for the podcast, alluding to everyone being supportive. Like I've said multiple times, most people know this. Oh, Chishnabua, you with the music. I know it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's, oh, Chishnabua, oh, what are they going to say? Oh, how is it going to come off? Like, I'm doing something good at the end of the day. That shouldn't matter. That shouldn't hold me back from doing it.
yeah.
The response I've had has been and I'm talking beyond my wildest dreams at this point, of people reaching out, telling me good things, keep it going. Like the most random people that I would have never thought they agree with this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I want to bring to light, is that you have an idea, you think it's good, and you're doing it for the good, for yourself, for the community. It doesn't matter. If it's good, do it. Don't let people hold you back.
100%. And yeah, just 101%.
Yeah,
That
like,
is absolutely true. I mean, if you know that you have a good idea or a good initiative in mind that would benefit a community, or even you just have a great talent that you want to showcase to the rest of the world, but you're kind of hesitant or scared, don't be. Take those first steps, get out there. I mean, just like Alban was saying with your podcast,
Yep.
nervous, sleepless nights leading into it.
Yeah.
Oh, what is this guy going to think of me? What is this guy going to say? Who are they going to compare me to?
Yeah.
Same thing with me. Like, I knew that, I shouldn't say, I believe that I have a talent. That's why I went out and did it.
Yeah.
And just like you, the reaction after I released that first song, Vajza Shqiptare, was...
Great song, by the way. Check it out on YouTube.
Thank you. Was enormous. I mean, I was getting calls left and right, people saying, "Po ka dul kjo now?" You know, like, have you always felt this way? What took you so long? Blah, blah, blah. So it was reassuring knowing I had support from other people.
Yep. And actually, because you just said that, I was going to bring this up anyway. What was it, 8 years ago, 9 years ago? You had that little single you released way back when. The name is escaping me, but I did my little deep dive on you on YouTube, and this song is still out there. Great song still, by the way.
Kjo jet pa ty.
Kjo jet pa ty. Beautiful. Check that one out. Give him some love on that one while we're at it.
8 or 9 years
8 or
ago.
9 years ago, yeah. And then Kyo Pikadu Kethai, Kyo Pikadu, where'd this come from? It's always been there. You just never fully went out like you're doing right
Full
now
throttle,
to do it.
exactly.
Full throttle going for it. And I love that. And then you are talented. You have a great voice. You write your own songs, right?
I do.
You do pretty much everything on your own. And this is the thing that always interests me. Why Albanian music? Why didn't you just... There's a bigger crowd. You probably have more success if you... in quotes, you have more of an audience in American music. Why Albanian music?
No, that's very true. I mean, the size of audience is completely different, but I love Albanian music. I honestly think, and I'm not just saying it to be all cliche, like, I'm Albanian, we have the best music. And I won't say we have the best music.
I personally think we do have the best music. I'm not even going to lie.
Okay, you threw it out there. I didn't
No, I'm
going
to say it. In terms of Europe and like how far of a reach Albania... Think of all the Albanian artists. I'll let you get into it more, but Albanian music's the best music.
Yeah, deep down, I am just in love with Albanian music. And it doesn't even matter what genre. Like, most of the time, sure, I'll listen to, like, muziek zbavica, like, pop, up-tempo music.
Get you a little dancing, get you a little groovy.
But if somebody hits me with a really nice chifteli,
right there, this one's broken, but...
Kong patriotike, or...
some folk music.
Kong populare, you throw Mahmoud Ferrati at me, I'll turn it up, And lately, Elida, my daughter, for some reason, whenever like a song automatically plays on YouTube and it ends up being like Turbo Talava,
She loves just dancing.
Exactly.
So
just whoops. I just think we have the best music, and being fluent in the language too. I was like, you know what? I want to just dive into this industry. I don't want to try to make it big in the United States, and I'm not even saying I want to try to make it big.
This is just a passion project.
It's a passion.
If it goes somewhere, it goes. If it doesn't, you know what? At least I don't have to say I didn't try it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I did wonder that, especially with all these artists that are growing up here and stuff. that turn to Albanian music. The talents, anybody that's doing it, that's going out and putting themselves out there, they're putting themselves out there in the Albanian community. They love it. It's a passion for them. So I always find it interesting, the why do they do Albanian music. So that's what I was curious about.
Yeah. And hopefully down the line, like, you know, I can collaborate with more Albanian artists and producers and even songwriters. I mean, for now, I've been writing my own songs.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, my door is open. And even for the song that I've already released, the song that I'll be releasing on June 5th.
June 5th, let's get some plug on that one. June 5th on YouTube. It's on YouTube, right?
Yes.
Yeah. On YouTube, find it there.
Yep, and then even this morning I recorded a song that I'm getting ready to release maybe towards the end of August. So just planning ahead, but with these
cranking out music, I love it. That's the way to do it.
You said it, full throttle.
Beautiful.
But even with these songs, like the producer who's making the music for me, he's based out of Israel. So there's another narrative in and of itself, you know, with me, with my religion being Muslim, and then he's Jewish. There's that combination,
there, yeah.
And it's a international collaboration. It's fun stuff. Entertainment is fun as long as you're passionate about it, you're confident in it.
Just go for it.
Exactly, go for it. Try to make as many connections as you can,
and that's the thing too. When with the podcast, I was talking to, just getting ideas from some people. There's that, and someone brought up a good point. He's like, okay, you started doing it, and you're going. How many people have come to you now that have given you good ideas, or that you just found a whole different that you would have personally I would have never found if I didn't put it out there. Yeah. Like now I've got stuff in the works that hopefully will come to fruition here soon. That's like if I didn't do it at all, I would have never met certain people, never gotten certain ideas from it. It's like you have to take that first step, regardless of what anybody thinks. 100% of the time with this community in general, it's a good thing. If you're putting good stuff out there with good intentions, you're going to get good reactions from it. Sure. Do not worry about anything else. I know I've said that like 10 times up until now, but I really need to drive that point home. If you're thinking about doing a podcast, do a podcast. If you're thinking about making music and you're good at it, make music.
Do it.
Just do it. The community will be there to help you.
No, and here, I'll give you a specific example. So for me, it would be simple for me to just go and record a song, release it on YouTube, but then nobody would find it. You know, my friends and family, sure, I'd get like 800 to 1,000 views, and we'll call it a day. Good job. But no, I mean, I reached out to somebody in our community, Blediani.
There you go.
Very talented. Përshëndesim Blediani. And yeah, you know, he's a very talented singer. Indeed, has multiple songs under his belt. And I'd see how he's navigating YouTube.
Right.
And so instead of being like, oh, man, I got to just try to copy what he's doing. No, reach out to the guy. Network. Hey, Bledian, can you, help me out? How can I kind of navigate YouTube? How can I get in touch with publishing agents? And just like this, with a snap of a finger, within a week, I was already set up on YouTube, having somebody manage my account. All because I worked with him. I asked him. So
you were the one to reach out, and you're like, "Yeah, let me build a bridge here."
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
it's all about the network. It's all about building bridges.
Networking is key. Taking the initiative, reaching out to people. You know, don't hesitate. Don't and don't see other people as competition. See it as like you're all flourishing together.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Once one builds each other, everybody's building each other up. And then with the podcast too, when I thought about it, doing it. Within this year, there's already a couple podcasts that are already at the same premise, same ideas. Shameless plug, I'm going to tell you, go listen to Bota podcast. She's on Instagram. She's got all her cool stuff. They're doing great stuff out there. Vepra podcast, I believe she's out of Michigan. She's got very cool people on, very cool stuff on. There's like 2 or 3 other ones out there, and I love that, and I hope that it becomes a thing because the more normalized podcasting gets, the more conversations we can have, bring each other closer together, and B, bring some ideas to light that our generation needs to move past a little bit. And I say this before, and this is a big one for me.
Yeah.
I'm an Albanian American. How do I bring Albanian traditions and culture into my American lifestyle now?
For sure.
That we can all move together on and keep it alive like that. And then to that point, you're the president of the, one more time?
Albanian American Community of Wisconsin.
Okay, because I don't want to botch it.
It's all good.
That's people out there think like that's an easy thing to do, or that's like, oh, you guys just get together and then just boom, 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 it works out. You know, it's easy to criticize or judge certain things. I know from the dealings I've had and from the help I've offered, it is a hard job to keep something like that going. It is unbelievably hard to do it. I have nothing but praise for people that do it. So my question is, where do you find the time? You're a father, you have a full-time job, you're doing your music now. It's like, where do you find the time, and what's the thing that makes you get up in the morning and say, I'm going to add this one on my list too?
Well, I mean, what motivates me is, like you said, you know, maintaining that Albanian tradition, that identity alive within the community, because there's multiple generations of Albanians in every community.
Right.
And so I know that even if it's just one fest flamuri, some kid is going to remember that night. He might have gone there, you know, just to play with his friends and things like that, but he'll remember what event it was that brought them there.
Yeah.
And then what the purpose of that event is, and learn more and expand your knowledge, you know. As far as finding the time, I mean, luckily, another thing that motivates me is that I have it's not my team, but the community has a very good team of people trying to do the same thing. So seeing how dedicated they are makes me just as dedicated. And I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. There's event planning. There's talking to venues, making sure everything is set up. There's the whole marketing aspect, you know, trying to get people
out there. And
then there's the whole budget. You can have one amazing fest flamuri. Depending on your budget, you can bring a top singer. Everybody will remember it, but then you kind of have nothing
for the rest of the
exactly. So you kind of have to balance that too, because it's kind of weird how with these events, though, sometimes when you organize, kind of a little segue.
Perfect.
Oh, that's awesome! You guys have it set up at this location. Yeah, you guys are doing all of this correctly. Who's singing?
And who's the singer?
Who's singing?
Yeah.
And then. Yeah, your answer there is gonna
make or break whether they show up or not.
Exactly.
Which I personally, for these bigger ones, okay, I understand it, cool. Even then I don't, but it's, why is that? Why do we have to make that the thing? Why is whoever's singing? And okay, I understand. Make the actual event fun.
Yeah.
Don't make it because I need to come support the people behind the event or the community behind the event. If the actual event is fun, people will come naturally.
Yeah.
And I get that. But we have to, you guys, for example, whoever's throwing the event has to wiggle a little bit. People who are coming, they have to compromise a little bit too. It's got to be on both sides if we're trying to make this work. The more we compromise together, the bigger they'll end up being long term.
That is, like, you hit the nail on the head.
I think I'm right on this one. Someone might come out and debunk me on it, but I think that's for all of us anywhere, Wisconsin, Illinois, New York, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And then to bring it back to your point, because this is a big thing that I think is something for this younger generation that's coming up. When they come to an Albanian event, Festa Flamuri, whatever, they come just because they're going to hang out with their friends. They have no idea. They'll see the Flamuri, they'll see here and this. They'll get you're planting the seed in that. As they're growing older, and I love using this example, when you play Morafial, I don't care where it is, when you play Morafial, everybody loses their mind. It doesn't matter who it is.
Himni dude.
I swear, at this point,
yeah.
These younger kids, a lot of younger kids listen to it and they feel something about it. It's a good song, first and foremost. All the remixes out there, everybody that's done their separate, it's a great song. Now what the idea of it is they're attached to that song. Now how do we bring the ideas of what Adim Yashari did that makes him a legend at this point? He likes the song. Well, this is why he was a big person. I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to botch it, but this is why he was. So they listen to the song, they think, oh man, this man gave up his life for an idea way bigger than I could ever think of.
Yeah.
Him growing up, when he starts getting a little bit older and older, that's how I was with multiple songs in general. I grew up listening to Albanian music, and that's, honest to God, going Kenea and listen to Albanian music is what kept me more Albanian to this point to do all this stuff. So I feel like that's a big thing we need to focus on. Bringing the ideas of what happened, why we are the way we are, and attaching it to the things that this younger generation likes.
Yeah, and I mean, it's all about discussions too. Like when you hear these kind of songs, try to get context. Like talk to the older generations. Like sure, you have a general idea, që për shembull ke mora fjalë për Adem Jasharin, lufta e Kosovës, the whole liberation movement, and the road towards independence, things like that. But, talking to older generations helps
big time.
Create better context, better understanding. And that way, you can also explain it to non-Albanians.
Yeah.
Because that's a key thing, Like, I noticed in the first episode that you had with Tim Celebrity. Hello, Tim.
Celebrity. We've just been giving shout-outs left and right. I love it.
That's okay, man. That's what it's all about. Where you guys talked about... I'm drawing a blank right now on what it just was.
That's fine. I don't know. What did we talk about? We talked about dialects. We talked about... What was it alluding to? The festas. I don't know what
Disim Dulpimench. All those shout-outs made it just go...
I'll only say... Well, we were on the point of how we bring the... Brigadim Yashari, Yakishim Lafin, how we bring the ideas, being the catalyst, his being the family to the road to liberation, independence, all that stuff.
Yeah, and then just understanding that context, and then you listen...
Actually talking to the older generation. Sit down, ask your parents. If your parents don't know, someone's going to end up... Go on YouTube. Do you know how many documentaries there are on YouTube about everything? Plut. Even if that'll lead you to one road, that'll lead you to another. Because we're using the Morafial song. That song, something will be mentioned in there. I can't think of anything. The liberation, the Uchekan, for example. Yeah. Be like, okay, what is that?
Yeah.
You're going to go in on YouTube and you're going to start finding all this stuff that you build a little bit more. You're going to eventually resonate on one of these ideas. You're going to eventually think to yourself, oh, what's this? This is cool. And then you're going to just go down the rabbit hole, how we always do when you go on YouTube late nights, whether it's Ellen DeGeneres. You know what, this time, watch something about your history a little bit. That pregadis perchiter sen. Yeah. So that when you get older, you have that. Like for me, it was now, when I was younger, all I would listen to was Albanian music, Kong Michiftelia, Kong Patriotica and stuff. It got to the point where I was listening to only that, like Lil Wayne Lollipop was on and I didn't know the words to it. Everybody else knew the words to it. Yeah. But now, Darsum and Bootnik Konok out there and you start singing, guess what? I'm the only one that knows that and everyone's looking at me. So guess what? I feel a little bit cool on that. And I have the knowledge on top of it to make myself more aware of what's going on.
We are actually in the same boat. There are like 80% of music celebrities in America. If they walked past me, I wouldn't have known who they are. I'm zoned in, just like you are. But the train of thought that I lost, I regained. Where you guys talked about how shqiptarët janë shumë të derth. Yeah. And meaning like, yeah, we have Albania proper, but then kind of learning the history of how our borders were divided, all those different conferences in London and how they split everything up. Because we're sticking with that Morafial example. Yeah. But just using that song as an example gives you one case study, for example, Kosovo, how it drifted away. What happened when it was under, Yugoslavia? Its road to independence, and then how you can explain that to non-Albanians so they understand. Because one question I've always gotten, depending on how I answer, depending on how much time I feel like I should devote to explaining to these people. They're like, wait, so okay, you're Albanian, but you're from Kosovo. Or hey, you're Albanian, but your mom is from Macedonia. Explain. And then you can dive in and you have more context. And it's not just from songs, but like we said, watch documentaries,
the song
read
will
books.
Lead you to something else.
Yes.
That documentary will lead you to whatever the fact. There's a million examples out there that it's just that one step you have to take. Yeah. That I feel like that gives you the actual connection, that gives you the yearning for it. That it's just a snowball after that.
Yeah.
And that's a great little segue into the idea of how you're a hybrid because you're an Albanian American here, but you have an extra step of your father's from Kosovo. Yeah. Your mother's from Macedonia.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure there was that whole big aspect in your life growing up that you had to not struggle with, but there was maybe some confusion growing up there too. Like, oh, why this, why that, So it's like you had to find your way into talking about all those ideas to people when they would ask, especially like us little shits when we were younger. We didn't care. I was asking questions left and right. To this day, I know the general idea of why I'm an Albanian in Macedonia, but I'm not going to sit here with my ligerata to doftoy this, and this. There's like been multiple conversations here when I have the guys over. I'm the one that's a little bit more knowledgeable on telling these things. So I'll tell what I know. Hopefully it resonates with them. They go deep
It leads
dive
to
into
more
that.
questions, more discussions. Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah,
But how was that growing up for you?
yeah. Well, first, I like how you described me as an Albanian hybrid. That was the first time. So
There you go.
from now, I'm
We're gonna start
the
normalizing hybrid.
All right,
Albanian
I like
hybrids.
that. So all my other hybrids, Upushin this, come out. Let's-
Come out. I need hybrids. I want to cover everywhere. Albania, Kosovo, Malizi, Macedonia. I want everybody to come on. This isn't just Kosovar stuff, but go into it.
This is hybrid habitat right here. I
Hybrid
feel like I'm in
habitat.
my natural habitat.
I love
But
that.
yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I love the fact that I'm a hybrid, to be honest with you. I mean, I got to learn 2 dialects.
Well,
You know, with my dad working, especially in the beginning, multiple jobs, I'd be at home with my mom most of the time. So my Kirchova, attachment is
Mhm.
very strong,
Strong,
just
right.
because of my mom. So depending on who I'm talking to, I'll flip the switch. Mer betesi, mer, şükür. Familia mer, all that kind of
Yep,
stuff.
yep.
But then somebody from Kosovo, mir brevala, you mir. Sure,
There you go.
you
Just
know,
direct, the fluent in and out of it, which I wish I had that, man. You have no
And-
idea how much I wish I had that. Not that I'm mad, and don't take it out of context, that I love it. On the full shupsiganes in Kosovo,
Siddish.
that's not a problem for me.
Yeah.
But now that I'm growing up, especially around here, there's a lot.
Yeah.
They went to my high school, Rolling Meadows High School. There's a lot. I was the one growing out. There was multiple ones, but I was the only one that hung out with them mostly. I was scared to speak Shub to them because it's like I understood kind of what they were saying, especially at that young. It was like I would hear every third word and be like, "Oh, okay, they're talking about this," and then. But it's just I wish I had that extra dialect in my arsenal.
I get you, yeah. But no, I mean, I love those interactions, especially when it's an Albanian from a region that I'm not from.
Yeah,
Like from Shqipëri, like one of my closest friends is from Shqipëri, from Pogradec.
there you go.
And yeah, he'll speak in his dialect. Obviously, I'm not going to match his dialect, but
Right.
we will communicate.
Okay, there's an easy communication.
or like
for you.
you're in Tiran, and we're used to saying "ose mer," ose, for me the Kosovo dialect as well. And then you get to Tiran, "Çarbër lal, mirë je, si dukesh lal," and it's like "Mirë, faleminderit, you see any," They're just,
You just-
keeping that flow going. I love interacting with. You learn different words, like Safole, perse la fosse, like stuff like that.
So you'll pick it up, and then that goes back to the idea of, for me, it was growing up. Now it's different. For me, I was scared to talk because how are they going to react? Now it's, yeah, I'll get it here and there. What the hell are you saying?
Yeah.
But it's not a negative reaction. I should be more comfortable to just full satmonish.
Exactly.
Just do what you can, and that's it.
People will appreciate that you're at least.
You're actually trying. That.
You're
Yes,
trying to. I
yes,
mean,
there you go.
And plus, there's a ton of like humor that comes out of it too. Not in the sense that somebody's making fun of you, but it's like a memorable moment. So, for
Right.
example, in Durs, kur kom qenë një herë,
Mhm.
I went me dajgjët në Durs, and there was a family. They had kids our age.
Right.
They were from Kosovo. Me being the hybrid that I am, I'm sitting in the middle playing with both sides.
Yep.
And then my cousin Pinkertrov says, "Aube shumë dzejet sot."
Okay.
Ky pi Kosovë çka tha? Zheg o doj, zheg.
Jack,
Zheg. U kallam. Just like funny moments like that. Just being a
yep.
translator for your own people.
There you go. That was whoever knows how long ago, and you remember that, and that's a funny story. for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I wish I had. I can't think of. I'm sure I'll think of one where I did something dumb. Actually, I do have one, but it's a little too. It's not. It's rated R for this podcast, and I'm not gonna do that one. But
Off camera.
I'll tell you
let's-
it off camera.
There you
It
go.
involves strawberry.
Okay.
That's as far. I'm sure you know where that's going, but that's as far as we'll go there. No, that's beautiful. That's awesome. And then, what's your? I think that this, like I mentioned earlier, I feel like going back home is a big. Doesn't matter what you're going back home for, as long as you go back home, that keeps you connected to the Albanian culture to keep it alive.
Big, yeah.
What's your schedule like nowadays? How often do you want to? How often have you gone? How much do you want to continue to go?
Yeah, so in my early life, the first time I went, I was 8 years old. But the reason wasn't that we didn't want to go. The one, it took quite some time for my parents' papers to,
Right,
get
okay.
finalized and all the citizenship stuff.
Yeah.
But then once that was finally completed, we were able to go Nesi Luftan Kosovo. So that put a dent in the plans as well. So that's why it took 8 years to go. But then it was either every year or every other year.
Right.
So yeah, we
And then
make
where
it
would
a
you
routine
spend
thing.
most of your time? In Kosovo, in Kirchhoff? Or was it an even split? Because
It started off as an even split, but then as things changed, Dars Maknina, do this,
yeah,
this,
but then
this.
you started having
It started being a little bit more to the Kirchhova side, but it's still, I pay attention to both sides of the family.
Beautiful, as you should. I love that.
And I mean, for Kosovo, it's actually a very easy trip for me because where the airport is located, they call it Pristina International Airport, but it's really located in Slatin.
Yes. Well,
my dad's family is in Slatin, so Zripike avioni hypnchera.
10-minute drive.
Exactly.
There you go. Not like us, Kirchhoff. You get on the plane. A whole nother trip. It's like I'm going number straj going from Skop to Kirchhoff. Now it's like less time. It's not. But back then, I feel like back then that was the worst part of my trip.
The travel.
The travel from Zdrupim to Skop. It felt like 15 hours. I felt like I watched 6 movies on the way to Kirchhoff. That was the worst part of my trip. And I swear at one point in time, I was like, you know what? I don't even want to go because of Straj and all that stuff. It's just so scary.
Well, the good news now, the American company, I think it's called Bechtel, that made the highways in Kosovo, which they made a modern
They
European,
did, yeah.
to the point where the last time I went in Kosovo, the highways and all these exits changed, so it looked so different that we took the wrong turn for my own Katon to see my own family.
Yeah.
That's how different it was.
Wow, that's crazy. So it's beautiful, and I've seen them.
But I heard that they won the contract now for Macedoni.
Well,
and so unlike the guys from China that kept messing things up and
altering.
Exactly.
Yeah.
These guys, I think, are going to start fixing things
hopefully.
I hope so, yeah.
We all hope so, because that's one that needs to be done. But then that's a question, especially now you have a child, beautiful child. How is that something you want to make a point to do, to take them back home obviously now our lives are a little bit different.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be able to go as often and as long, but do you want to make it a point to take them back home regularly? I guess I could say
100%. 100%. I can't stress it enough. I mean, I want them to get to know their relatives, but also
for sure.
They'll understand what it means to be Albanian. You're in the territory. You see you hear the language being spoken.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is a bit, and that's the thing, and that's something that I think is a big thing that helps with that, to keep being Albanian and to keep the traditions and culture alive, is going back home. And for me, Bershamble, in Kirchhoff, I live in Shared, and sometimes I'll just walk to the cafes. It's a mile walk or whatever.
Yeah.
From my house to the I bet Trechin here. Okay, Trechin, I'm not that popular, but there's a decent amount of times where either someone will get, like I'll pick you up and take you real quick as I'm going there anyway, or it's just so many interactions where here I'm gonna go to Dunkin' Donuts and get a large iced latte or something. People are trying to hit me with their car because I'm driving so slow or something. It's like that's obviously not true, but it's just a whole different reaction. It's more connective over there, and it brings the language to light. You could learn the language better. You actually practice it, whereas here you're going to school here and stuff. And that's why I think that's a big thing, especially us coming up. We're going to start having kids. It's not going to be as I used to go 3 months at a time. Obviously, it's not going to be like that.
Right.
But the more often you go, it's never too late to start going. You haven't been back in 8 years, that's fine. Start this year and go 2 weeks off, 2 weeks off.
Yeah. Any time is valuable time.
And not to mention, because the thing like now I hear nowadays a lot is, I could go to Mexico for like 2 weeks for half the price and have a better time. You might. I'm not going to argue that you will have a good time.
Yeah.
But I find you can have access to having a lot of fun over there.
Yeah, no kraso burrito ne horchata me
byrek me kosec. Ne çevapi pike çaçe. Come on. Ne hajvara ato ne stek pule. Come on, But we also, Oscar, we also have to now start thinking about what's the thing that we need to get to make our kids go and to make this younger generation have a good time. With the I think the cafe, how we grew up going to the cafes, having a good time is going to be a whole different thing.
Yeah.
And we talked about this with Tim and stuff, but I think that's a big thing that we need to start talking about and doing.
I mean, I guess just one basic thing that you can do is kind of treat it. It is a vacation, but treat it like, pretend you're not going Kenea type vacation. You're going Kenea, but have an agenda. Yeah, we're going to hang out with family. Do shkojmë për kafiç or whatever, but nesër do shkojmë Drenic, for example, kish pa ja dhe mjashari.
Yep.
Do shkojmë në Prizren, aty ke lidhja e Prizrenit. We're going to go visit this.
We're going to visit these actual historical sites.
Exactly.
That have give you some context.
Get out and about,
Which I'm very bad at that. I have, maybe the last 5 years now, I've been thinking about, this year I'm going to go. To see what's going on. This year I'm going to go, all right, this year I had this, I had that. I had nothing. I was just being too lazy. So it's been like 5 years that I haven't gone, that I need to go and I'm dying to go. This year, hopefully I can end up doing that.
I hope so.
That's actually, I didn't think of that. Actually, whatever.
You got it.
Whatever, said Momorgoya. Actually use those things.
Yeah.
To go there and actually see what's going on.
Ja, shkon Tiran, ke sheshi Skënderbeu dhe në te ma marrë gojën, po.
Spoj zoom atë.
Yeah, po. Shko shifni sen,
Go, actually, yeah.
Shkon Gjirokastër, shkon Kruj.
Yeah, there's
ke
beautiful,
Kalaja.
beautiful.
There's a ton of stuff that you can see. There's a ton of things. Yeah, there's a ton of things that I still have to check off my list too, but.
Yeah, see, that's a big thing.
Maybe I will use that checklist and make sure I check it off with my daughter and with future kids that come along the way.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's the thing also. It says Zoom spoj, zut na merret goja, guys. It was a great conversation right now. But that's the thing. And actually, I'm going to tangent off a little bit here. This is a podcast.
Yes.
This is a podcast. I'm not going to start teaching people what a podcast is anymore, because what you should have is, I'm going to get, some people are going to be like, okay, this is to me. It's not specifically, I've had multiple. You should have like a list of like 5 questions to answer. I don't want that. I want a free-flowing conversation. I want people to mess up. I want it to be comfortable. I want you listening right now to feel like you're right here, third person, and you think, oh, shit, okay, wait, no, that's like that, but you can't obviously say, this isn't, I hate the idea of these Albanian talk shows where you go on for 7-8 minutes and you can't actually carve out the ideas. We need to carve out ideas. We need to have people talk more in depth about certain things. That's what a podcast is, and that's why I want to do it.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a big benefit to it, especially with Albanians, when they can hear someone talk. Because someone looked at this on my story and said, but qysh mund të bujnë laf Durimi në Albani?
Qysh do folin?
Qysh do folin këta? Well, you're going to listen, and maybe you might find something out of it. So I can't wait I'm going to clip that, by the way. That's going to be great. But, no, back to going back home and stuff. And then I talked with Tim with this about it too, but you'd be also someone good to see your views on it. Say you weren't in the, because we had certainly 5 or 6 people around here. We always hung out but we had our American stuff, but we always got together and did the Albanian stuff.
Uh-huh.
Our generation, sidomos, we had to grow up. How do I say this? We had to grow up. We had to find our own way with being Albanian.
Yeah.
Did you ever find that? Like there wasn't something set to where we could go here or feel being a part of there. We found our own way. We made these friends. Like me and you became friends. We became friends. We met at like a Festa Flamurit or something, but we actually built a bond through, however we built the bond. I can't even remember right now, but you know what I'm saying. Like through friends, through going back home and stuff like that. Did you ever find that, especially being farther out in the Madison area?
Yeah, and that statement.
And like, how did you connect to it? What made you want to?
So that statement is especially true during my childhood years, because there were some Albanians in Madison when I was growing up.
Right.
But before Lufta e Kosovës, small number, and especially in like no one my age really.
Right.
A few here and there, but. Kur erdhën refugjatët do pike lufta.
Okay.
That's when, and I got to meet a lot of people my age, engage with them. Ata s'dinin anglisht, unë nuk e dini shqipen merë. There we go. Connected
there's
that. I
that
got
connection
that
right
bond.
there.
And then we're all the same age. We want to go hang out together, play together, you know, just sleepovers at somebody's house, next week somebody else's house. You develop that bond. So I was able to find that. But yeah, until that happened, it was tough. Like, yeah, I'm Albanian. Oh, okay. So tell us a little bit more about Albania. Well, you know, how much context can I give you? I don't know.
Like how much do I really know?
And half the time they'd get it mixed up with Armenia or...
Right. And we were, what, like 9, 10, I'm assuming? 8, 9? How old were you? We were really young. It doesn't matter how old. We were really young at this point to like where we were trying to explain these unbelievable hard ideas that we didn't understand ourselves, but we had to find a way to explain it.
Yeah, and I mean, there was one time my mom told me the specific story on Irikomchen. It slipped my mind completely until she told me a few years back. Like, yeah, there was this one time, and it was 1998, 1999 during the war. But my parents had it on CNN the whole time.
Right.
And yeah, I would go to school, and you know, I'm just drawing illustrations, whatever.
Doodling,
but it's war stuff. It's like tanks, it's Uchaka badges, it's guns. So the teachers are over there thinking, oh, like he's about to do something dangerous. Until my parents explain, no, we've had the war on TV, and you know, he's trying to associate himself to what's going on from far away. He's young, he doesn't know what's going on. From his homeland,
yeah.
So it was difficult, but Kurerden refugiated, and they established themselves in Madison too. It changed the game for me. It changed my life for the better.
Yeah, and then I'm assuming you still have those friends that. Those are So there you go. That's the.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing. And then actually, that's a funny story you said, because I have a decent story about that. If it's bad, I'll edit it out. Whatever. So this poster has been hanging in our house for the longest time. I don't even remember when we got it. The story I know is that was gifted to my dad. It's a 1 of 1. Okay. So hand painted canvas, everything's beautiful. It's amazing. I love it.
That is yours for life. That is amazing.
It's priceless to me.
Yeah.
So this was hanging in it was gifted to my dad for the help he tried giving to Kosovo and everything he did for that. And it was hanging in our home. I did something. I can't even remember what I did. I got into like an accident. Not an accident. It's not that crazy. I like fell from school or something.
Okay.
Hanging out with kids at school. I ended up coming home on my bike, all like foggy and stuff. And I barely make it home. The cops end up coming and picking me up. Vajna. That's how like bad it was. Okay. They come, take me home. They check me out and everything. They come in the house and they see this photo, right? And I swear to you, that I remember instinctively. There's like 3 cops in my house trying to figure out what's going on. Ended up nothing happened. I like fell or something.
Yeah.
Ended up nothing. They're just looking at the poster like, and this was a couple of years after the whole 9/11 thing too. So you know, someone that doesn't know, an American that's looking at it, they're like, is that no sound like? They just start going at it, and I remember my dad fully trying to. He's given a full lecture to the cops about what's going on, and I'm like, Dad, they want to go now. They don't want to hear about it. But he was so proud to tell his story. And that stuck with me from that time. And it's like, how do I not learn more about it and be just as proud to tell this story?
Yeah, I feel you, man.
And nobody clipped that and think, politska progish, but I didn't do anything. I like got hurt or something, guys. All right, this is a good story. Don't ruin it. But yeah, man. What's the runtime, Nick?
Right now, you're about to push the 15-minute mark.
15? 50 minutes, not bad, dog.
Yeah.
Not bad. Oh, man. It's beautiful. It's beautiful stuff we're working at. What are, COVID's coming to an end here hopefully soon.
Yes, I hope so.
We hope so, at least. My guess is about Chicago's supposed to open up here soon. You guys have anything in the works over in the Wisconsin area for some... Or organizing any events or anything? What's going on over there?
We're definitely going to start picking it up. Sure. We had some big plans. Like we wanted to do kind of an Albanian fest in Madison and just gather everybody from the Madison community, learn about our culture, learn how to dance, learn our food, learn some language, basic things.
So geared more towards the younger crowd.
Yep, and then obviously the big events for us are, like Ata dy festat për Shqipërinë e për Kosovën. And those are big, and those are really fun to organize. They're stressful to organize, but they're fun. Like the final outcome.
It's a beautiful thing. It's
exactly.
awesome.
And I always look forward to that. So I'm hoping things can start to get back to normal, even if it's like a limited capacity type
right,
thing.
Yeah, just
let's get the ball rolling in November.
Just to get the ideas out there.
Yeah.
Hey, we're starting up again. Let's go, guys. Because I feel like after this, especially after Corona and stuff, din sam ka marrë malli gjekni valle.
Oh man, me too.
Malim ka marrë gjekni valle, like crazy style. I can't, like every now and again I'll be cleaning up or hear something. I'll get the Yui Boom playing, some song will come on, ne valle or something. See who to just vejet me brithken, you know.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Mali, man, just to gather, the Albanians to gather in one place.
I know. And shit, like when you think about it now, we're in early May, we would have had Mbrëmja Kërçëvare,
which would have been beautiful.
It would have been amazing.
But COVID threw us for a loop.
It did. But at least we know we're not alone. It was the whole world.
It was the whole world. Bottom, yeah, we can.
So everybody missed out on something.
Exactly. All right, man. I feel like we could end it there. Unless you have something else you want to get into.
It is your show. You call the shots.
I love that.
We had an amazing discussion.
This was great. This was honest to God good. You're definitely going to be a reoccurring guest.
Okay.
For sure.
I'd love that.
Awesome stuff, man. All right. I feel like we can end it here. By the way, I always forget this, but that's also another thing. You are fasting. That's why I didn't do those. You are fasting. Zoti Kabul here soon. I believe we're going to be able to go and get some food.
I mean,
Zoti Kabul.
And I appreciate the gesture. I would have taken it, but
I'm sure. Well, we're gonna start working towards that. Yun buim ne kafe, si kanea, yun chisin ne birdek, yun buim ne. So we're gonna make it a little more
all things Albanian.
All things Albanian, guys. That's how it goes. But all right, man. Let's get together. Let's go get some food somewhere. Let's see how much time you have left. 7:20. We got some time left. We'll chill a little bit here. We'll probably talk about what we just talked about. I'll tell you that story about the strawberry.
I am looking forward to hearing this.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. This has been another episode. It was awesome. And if you didn't like it, I don't care. Smash the like button.
The like button. The
subscribe. Do whatever you gotta do. Check Durim out on YouTube. He's got some great music coming. It is beautiful. Nick has something to say. What do you gotta say?
I don't know.
Nothing. All right. We're ending it here.